Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raquel Valdivieso. This presentation was made for Agri 120 Global Food Perspectives. Today, I'll be discussing an increasingly relevant and critical topic, misleading food labels. In a world where food production and marketing play pivotal roles, it's essential to examine how the language used by corporations to sell their products can impact consumers and global food systems. As highlighted in this poster, the language used on food packaging is often unchecked and can mislead consumers. In the year 2050, when the global food population reaches 10 billion, the issue of deceptive food labels can prove devastating when the trust between food producers and consumers is compromised by these marketing strategies. Is it unethical for companies to embellish their products for the sake of sales? What can consumers do to protect themselves? Over the course of this semester, we've learned about several ethical perspectives and how they can be applied to different global food issues. An ethical orientation that would support the use of misleading food labels would be egoism. Egoism describes an ethical perspective that revolves around maximizing a person's or corporation's welfare and self-interest. One potentially positive outcome from deceptive food labeling would be an increased profit to corporations. Another positive outcome associated with this practice is marketing towards consumers concerned with animal welfare. The egg industry benefits from labeling freedom by using a variety of unregulated terms like free to roam and pasture raised to market towards consumers that are concerned with animal welfare. Finally, a benefit of this practice can be seen in the ability of corporations to appeal to a variety of demographics. Using unregulated terms such as healthy and locally grown can solicit to health-conscious consumers or those that like to eat locally. Contrary to this viewpoint, an ethical orientation that would reject the use of misleading food labels would be utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is an ethical perspective that is grounded in creating the most happiness for the greatest amount of people. A negative impact that can result from deceptive food labeling strategies is damage to the trust that exists between consumers and food producers. Trust is the cornerstone of a positive relationship between consumers and producers and can garner both brand loyalty and repeat business. Another potentially negative outcome that can result from this practice is the risk to consumer health. Products marketed as healthy and diet-friendly may lead individuals to inadvertently consume more calories than they intend to or are even aware of. Additionally, market competition within the agriculture industry can be negatively impacted by the use of misleading labels. The phrase locally grown is unregulated and can be used by corporations to unfairly intercept business from companies that actually do operate locally. Let's ponder this question. Is it ethical for companies to exaggerate or embellish their products solely for sales? The consequences of deceptive marketing can be far-reaching and potentially affect our health, environment, and the stability of the food industry itself. As responsible consumers, it's crucial to consider the ethical implications of such practices. The impact of misleading labeling within agriculture industries will continue to have a local, regional, and global impact. If increased regulation on marketing practices is not implemented. My personal opinion on this issue aligns with a utilitarian ethical perspective. I would not support the use of labels that misrepresent the product's content or origin. Increased regulation over food labels and marketing strategies would be beneficial to society as a whole and foster a sense of trust between consumers and producers. The continued use of labels that abuse unregulated and ambiguous terms would only bring happiness to corporations that benefit from confusing consumers. Utilitarianism asserts that a moral decision is the one that brings about the most good to the most people. Creating policy that regulates terms used on food packaging will provide society members with the transparency needed to make healthy decisions, thus bringing about a greater amount of good in the world. Until then, what can consumers do to protect themselves? Educating ourselves about food labeling, understanding the ingredients, and being and being critical of marketing claims is a good start. By demanding transparency and supporting companies with ethical practices, we can influence change. I'd like to draw your attention to the table I've included on my poster, which describes some commonly seen food labels that are regulated by various agencies. Organic is a term that is regulated by the USDA and authenticated through an organic certified label. The USDA has defined specific guidelines for animals to be considered grass-fed that include that they have been fed only grass or allowed to graze since being weaned. The FDA recognizes natural products as having nothing artificial or synthetic, including all color additives, regardless of the source. In conclusion, the issue of deceptive food labels is a matter of integrity within our food system. As we look ahead to the future with the larger population, addressing this issue becomes even more pressing. Thank you for viewing my presentation. This poster, along with my sources, will be linked in the comments.